Welcome back to another episode of Wrestling Fanatics, and in today's video, I am going to be ranking the top 10 best WWE champions of the 2010s. Are you ready to see who is number one? Watch the entire video to see, and let's get into it. At number 10 for the top 10 WWE champions of the 2010s, we have Kofi Kingston. Remember Kofi Mania when he won the championship? Well, it was a pretty memorable sight when the New Day piled on him and were celebrating like crazy. Kofi Mania was one of the best WrestleMania moments of the decade, and Kofi deserved every bit of that victory. But after that, it was kind of meh, because his championship matches were not that good. He wrestled people like Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Dolph Ziggler, and Randy Orton was probably his best title defense. The end of his reign was to Brock Lesnar after he beat him in literal seconds. But Kofi, he deserved a better reign than what he got. Kofi deserved a better reign than this because he's been around for a long, long time. At number 9, we have Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is better at chasing the title than actually winning it. He was a fine champion, nothing more and nothing else. The cash-in was a great moment, and his matches with The Shield and AJ Styles were great. But man, did he ever feel like the top guy, especially when he wrestled Dolph Ziggler at SummerSlam. I love Dolph. Man, was their match overwhelming. His reign was completely overshadowed by literally everybody else. Nikki Bella's return, Styles versus Cena, Orton versus Brock, Balor versus Rollins, and even Roman brawling with Rusev was even more memorable. He never felt like a WWE champion. He didn't feel like the top guy on SmackDown. The Miz did. And he was the IC champion. So I'm sorry he had great matches, but the momentum just wasn't there. And the number 8 spot is Seth Rollins. One of the most memorable Money in the Bank cash-ins. It was the first ever cash-in at WrestleMania. Well, he did it, and he won that one-on-one and became the new WWE Champion. Seth Rollins, the entire reign, was booked as a coward who constantly needed help, which that just sucked. His match with Randy Orton at Extreme Rules wasn't nearly as memorable as his WrestleMania match with him. His feud with Brock Lesnar was disappointing. His feud with John Cena was overshadowed. His feud with Sting was overshadowed too by Sting retiring. And his feud with Kane was forgettable. Just like Kofi at the beginning and the end of his reigns were only the most memorable parts. And his reign didn't even end right since he had to relinquish the title due to injury. The title reign should have been a lot better. At number 7, we have Randy Orton. His 2010 title reign did nothing but bury Wade Barrett, and he was overshadowed by John Cena. His first 2013 reign only lasted a month and ended because of a stupid referee fast count. He only won it back because of Shawn Michaels, and then he had some boring matches with The Big Show and John Cena. His last 2010s reign was by far his worst, as he had won it in a horrible match against Bray Wyatt, and then he lost it to Jinder Mahal. But at least he had his feud with Daniel Bryan that produced some good matches. Now we are getting into the big leagues. At number 6, we have John Cena. None of his 2010s reigns were that memorable. His first reign ended in a matter of minutes to the hands of Batista. His second ended because of Nexus. His third was completely overshadowed by CM Punk. His fourth made him look so bad to Rey Mysterio. His fifth was completely forgotten. His sixth was probably the most predictable WrestleMania finish of the 2010s. His seventh was overshadowed by Brock Lesnar. His eighth just felt necessary and only lasted a month. However, he was better than most champions due to how many times he won it. but also because his reigns gave us his 2011 matches with CM Punk, his SummerSlam match with Daniel Bryan, his SummerSlam squash against Brock Lesnar, and gave us a title match against AJ Styles. Not to mention, he always seems like a credible champion, and none of his title matches disappointed. In the number 5 slot, we have Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is now the tribal chief and stuff, but he wasn't actually that bad back in the 2010s. I mean, he was a really underrated champion. He had a really underrated match with Dean Ambrose at Survivor Series to win his first title. He beat Sheamus in another underrated match on Raw. The 2016 Royal Rumble match was actually pretty good, and his feud with AJ Styles was really good. The only truly bad thing about his reigns was the Triple H match. But besides that, he felt like a champion and his matches were great, but the crowd support wasn't there for him. At the number 4 spot, we have Brock Lesnar. Say what you will about Brock, because he always feels special, like the final boss of a video game. Definitely boosted by his lack of appearances and his brilliant promo work of Paul Heyman. His lone WWE title reign of the 2010s was nothing but gold. His pair of matches with John Cena were underrated. His triple threat with Cena and Rollins was one of the best triple threat matches I have ever seen. Even with this WrestleMania match with Roman, what is pretty overlooked, even without Seth's cash-in. The only reason he isn't higher on this list is because his lack of monthly defenses. At number 3, we have AJ Styles. When AJ Styles won the WWE title from Dean Ambrose at Backlash in 2016, it felt surreal. Mr. TNA as the WWE Champion. It felt like a video game or a fantasy booking come to life. And luckily, the rest of his reign delivered. His triple threat with Dean Ambrose and John Cena was so good, and his TLC match with Ambrose was extremely underrated. And his defense at the Royal Rumble against John Cena was one of the best Royal Rumble title matches ever. Then you get into his second reign, where he carried Jinder Mahal to the best match of his career, and had an underrated feud with Samoa Joe and an underrated match with Rusev. The match that he lost the title was against Daniel Bryan, and it was a great match. His second reign even lasted an entire year. The only reason he's not higher up is because his disappointing matches in his second reign with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with Shinsuke Nakamura, and even more with Samoa Joe. It was a long reign with great moments, but his first reign I will cherish the most. He has been mentioned so many times throughout the duration of this video, and definitely deserves the number 2 spot in the top 10 WWE Champions of the 2010s. He is Daniel Bryan. If we were going by his first 3 reigns, he'd be lower down. His first reign ended in minutes because of a Randy Orton cash-in. His second win revoked because of a stupid referee fast count. And his third ended due to injury. Those 3 reigns had their moments, of course. The victory over Cena was one of the best SummerSlam matches ever. The series with Randy Orton was so underrated. His victory at WrestleMania was one of the best WrestleMania moments ever. Even his match with Kane was solid. But it's his 4th reign that puts him higher. The new Daniel Bryan was such a good character. WWE took a risk turning Bryan a heel the same year he returned from retirement, but it definitely paid off. He had a really great pair of matches with AJ Styles, the best Elimination Chamber match of all time, a sadly overlooked triple threat at Fastlane, and an incredibly good match with Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. At the number 1 spot, it couldn't have been anyone else but CM CM Punk, the longest reigning champion of the decade. He held it from Survivor Series 2011 to Royal Rumble of 2013, equaling a whopping 434 days as champion. That reign was more than just numbers, though. It had an underrated TLC match with The Miz and Alberto Del Rio, an equally underrated match with Dolph Ziggler at Royal Rumble, a pair of really underrated matches with Chris Jericho, and a really good program with Kane and Daniel Bryan. A great series of matches with John Cena, and a great final match with The Rock. The only bad part of his reign was his match with Ryback at Hell in a Cell. But even after all this, he had another reign before this, a much shorter, but still. He won in that match with John Cena and retained in an underrated SummerSlam match. Even with the Del Rio stuff, his first reign was solid too. So say what you say, but most people will agree that CM Punk is the best in the world and the best WWE champion of the 2010s. And that's the video, everybody. Don't forget to drop a like on this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.